Okay, so hopefully you've tried this on your own to find the limits numerically. So we are going to need a table of values, an XY table. And then I notice I'm finding the limit as x goes to 0. So I'm going to put that 0 in the middle. And remember, when I'm finding my limit, I'm going to have to look from the right and the left, right? So I'm going to come in from the right-hand side. So 0.1, 0.01, 0.001, getting closer and closer to 0. And then I'm going to do the same thing from the left-hand side. So negative 0.1, negative 0.01, negative 0.001. So getting closer and closer to 0 from each side. Okay, so that 0 is the value that's not defined for the limit. Okay, and now I'm going to use my calculator to do this. So I'm going to use the Inspire. It is a little bit different if you were going to use the other calculators, but very, very similar. Okay, and this idea is still the same. You want to be able to use your calculator efficiently. So I'm first going to just make sure that my settings are set to a high float, so I get all the decimal places from my settings menu. Now I'm going to go over to my scratch pad. I'm going to put the sine of x over x into my graph. So sine of x over x. And I also remember you have to make sure you're in radians as well, because this could severely mess up your answer. So there's my sine of x over x. So now I'm going to go to my table. I'm going to do my split screen table. So it's giving me 1, 2, 3, 4 as my independent variable. So I'm going to go to table and then edit table settings, number 5. And I'm going to change that independent variable to ask. So my independent variable is going to be put on ask, and I'm going to say okay. Okay, and now it's going to let me put in whatever x value I want, and it'll give me out the y value. So I'm going to put those ones that I've already written on my table. So 0.1, 0.01, 0.001. Okay, and then coming in from the other side, do an extra one right there just to make sure. So it looks like it's going to 1. Okay, again, if you're not sure, put in a few extra values so you can kind of see. Okay, now I'm going to go in the other direction. I need to make sure the right and the left-handed limits are the same. Okay, so negative 0.001. Again, I can try extra one just in case. Okay, if I scroll over, I can see that full value, and yes, from the left-hand side, it also looks like it's going to 1. So that limit then is 1. Okay, now I'm going to do the same exact thing for the limit as x goes to 0 of 1 minus cosine of x over x. Okay, so I go back, I delete that graph, I'm going to add in the other one, again, making sure it should still be in radians, but it needs to be in radians. Let me just move that out of the way. So I make sure that that graph is now selected, and I'm just going to put in a few more values. So I'm seeing some odd y values, so I'm just going to add a few more x values to just kind of see where it is that this graph is going. So now I'm kind of looking at these y values and I see, ooh, they are really, really small. So it appears like they are going to 0. So my limit then would be 0. So these are 2 limits that you should memorize, and they are also on your colored card, so you could write those limits right on there to help you memorize it. I hope this was helpful.